I wanted to know if that Walmart honored the Second Amendment, said Dmitriy Andreychenko to local police after walking into a Springfield, Missouri store carrying a tactical rifle, a handgun, and over 100 rounds of ammunition.
There's been another terrifying incident at a Walmart in the wake of the El Paso mass shooting. This time it happened at a store in Springfield, Missouri, about 165 miles south of Kansas City. Police say a man armed with a rifle and another gun walked into the store yesterday carrying more than 100 rounds of ammunition. More now from Tom Hansen.
Springfield, Missouri police say they arrested an armed man after he walked into a Walmart store dressed in body armor and military-style clothing. The man, believed to be in his 20s, sent terrified shoppers running from the Walmart neighborhood market Thursday afternoon.
While there are those that feel Andreychenko did something wrong, there are most likely just as many who feel he was simply exercising his right to bear arms. After all, it is legal to carry firearms in Missouri as long as you are legally permitted. The comments section of a Newsweek article illustrates key points in this debate. One commenter, handled Fox Free, stated, "Law-abiding citizens need to have the courage to go shopping without carrying a rifle on them." In response, Golden Radio typed, "Incorrect. Law-abiding citizens shouldn't fear what other people will think or do when openly displaying a firearm on their person." Whatever the case here, a panic was obviously caused.
He walked in here heavily armed with body armor on, in military fatigues, and caused a great amount of panic inside.
A real loud siren goes off for like a second, and then they say, suspected fire, possible fire, exit immediately. And there's an employee standing there, and I was like, looked at him like that, and he's like, I don't know. And this lady was screaming at us, she's like, get out now, get out, get out.
There were a lot of people hiding outside behind these barriers and businesses, and it was pretty chaotic for a couple minutes.
So whose responsibility is it when someone's actions cause people to think or do fearful behaviors, such as panic? Golden Radio even suggests that it was the store manager who actually incited the panic by pulling the fire alarm, and that the manager should be charged with panicking everyone. These things being said, at first glance, this may appear to be all about the Second Amendment, but there appears to be First Amendment issues here as well. This is evidenced by the prosecuting attorney Dan Patterson's statement, where he refers to the declaration by Supreme Court Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes in the Schneck versus United States case, where Holmes condemned actions such as shouting fire in a crowded theater and causing panic, saying that such actions were not constitutionally protected. What does this have to do with free speech? Well, consider the fact that he was recording it on his phone, and has openly admitted that he was conducting a social experiment, almost as if he planned to communicate something somewhere, perhaps on social media, about his strong feelings for the Second Amendment. But anyway, what he has been charged with is making a terrorist threat. This requires that he must have initiated an implied threat. Springfield attorney Scott Pearson went on the local news to explain the legal complications of this.
Kara Strickland joins us live from the store with the latest. Kara?
According to that probable cause statement, Andreychenko says he was at Walmart to buy grocery bags. He said he pulled out his phone to start recording himself in order to see if they allowed him to express his Second Amendment right. Now, I spoke with an attorney today who walked me through some of those possible charges that he could have been charged with today. He says that it's possible that he did not break any laws because of how open Missouri firearm laws actually are.
It doesn't look good. I mean, the fact that he has a tactical vest plus ammunition, if I was his attorney, I would be concerned about that. It's really tough to define what is an implied threat. You have to have put fear of serious bodily injury to multiple people for it to be a first-degree terroristic threat. Is simply walking to a store with a gun, is that going to be enough?
He was compliant with us. but his intent was not to cause peace or comfort to anybody that was in the business here. In fact, he's lucky he's alive still, to be honest.
Pearson says if something like this happened just 2 weeks ago, before the El Paso and Dayton shootings, he may not have even been arrested.
But because of those things happen, a reasonable person would be fearful of an individual walking in with a tactical vest and what looks like an assault rifle.
With such strong support for the Second Amendment in the United States, we have a tendency to want to have good guys with guns. I'm referring to, of course, the often heard argument that a good guy with a gun is the only way to deter a bad guy with a gun.
And KSBR News starts now.
He wasn't trying to kill anybody. He wasn't trying to shoot anybody. He's a really good guy.
Going back to the Newsweek comments, Fox Free makes a comment about open carry, that the problem with the open carry, you can't tell the difference between the good guys and the bad guys. Golden Radio replies, here's a hint on how to tell a good guy from a bad guy. Good guys with guns aren't shooting other people for no reason. Andreychenko certainly wasn't shooting anyone. He even tried to peacefully walk out when the fire alarm went off, until he was ironically detained by another good guy with a weapon, an off-duty firefighter. A CBN article even uses these good guy versus bad guy terms. The headline states, good guy with gun stops bad guy with gun in Walmart. However, the argument for open carry also supports Andreychenko's behaviors. It could be argued that a good guy with a tactical weapon could have neutralized the recent mass shooters and saved lives. Orange Planet makes such a case on the Newsweek website. The people dead in the El Paso Walmart would sure have loved this guy to be in that store to gun down the real shooter. First and Second Amendment rights are fundamental to the American way of life. But you have to admit that the timing was pretty bad for this social experiment, being just days after a couple of horrific shootings, where one of them actually took place in a Walmart with similar weapons. Andreychenko's wife, Angelique, said it was not a smart idea.
Tonight, we are hearing from the family of that heavily armed man who caused panic just by walking inside a Southwest Springfield Walmart yesterday. I'm Ethan Forhead.
I'm Lisa Rose.
Braden Burdick spoke to his wife and his sisters about that statement and their reaction to it and is in our newsroom tonight.
Lisa and Ethan, his two sisters and his wife, say that he told them that he was going to do a social experiment by walking into that Walmart legally armed and see if someone stopped him and told him to leave.
He asked me if I would go in and record him. He said that he wanted to see if the manager of Walmart would ask him to leave, even though he was doing everything legally.
Dmitri's wife and Anastasia told him that wasn't a good idea.
Obviously, people are going to be on their toes after something just happened like that, especially the timing. Timing was so bad.
Irina Yusik, Andreychenko's older sister, heard about his experiment, and when he wasn't answering his phone, decided to stop by the Walmart and saw the chaos firsthand.
I would be worried myself. What they had to go through with their families and children. We are very sorry that this has happened.
But the family says the whole situation was a big misunderstanding.
I just don't think he understood the impact that the previous events had.
He's not the guy that everyone's portraying him out to be.
Yet there are those who feel that these social experiments are there to help spread the word about Second Amendment rights. As Orange Planet states, an experiment can be looked in a positive way. It is maybe better to train managers and firefighters to try to recognize if chances are not danger and simply ask, hey buddy, are you going to kill someone here? So does the responsibility for the panic lie with the crowd in Justice Holmes' metaphorical theater where fire is yelled, or with the person doing the yelling? It appears that Andreychenko didn't even consider how people would react.
If it had been just a sidearm, people do that all the time. I mean, that's totally lawful. But I think carrying a long gun scared some people, and we understand why.
His attorney feels that it was just poor judgment not a terrorist threat. Time will tell, as this situation is open to interpretation, and I'm sure that a lot more will be said of this.